Hello, my friends. Welcome to Lean and Clean with Fitness Chef Christine. I'm Christine, your host, and I really want to have a real talk with you tonight because I've been having some health issues, and I know a lot of you are having health issues, and I want to talk to you about food as medicine. I've been dealing with a lot of neuropathy, which we've talked about in the past couple episodes, but it started out with plantar fasciitis, which is really just tightening of those ligaments in your feet where they start to cramp up and they start to hurt when you get out of bed and you're trying to walk, and it just doesn't feel good. From there, it progressed up my legs to lots of Charlie horses, like 5-6 times a night, to where I'm worried about pointing my toes and feeling it all lock up. And as I teach fitness, I teach water fitness, and I've been doing a lot of Pilates, and I've been doing yoga and a whole bunch of other things, which you would think with all that great stretching wouldn't be a problem. But it went from all of that to muscle twitching and spasms and all kinds of crazy things happening from now my hip all the way down my legs. And what concerns me about that is that my mom had ALS, which you know is a neuromuscular disease. And that is scary to me. I don't want to go through with that. Now hers started in the bulbar region, so it started in her throat, and then, it moved through her body. Now, she never actually was in a wheelchair or anything like that. She did lose her voice and she lost her ability to eat. And she had very waving musculature where it would twitch and wave and all that. But by the grace of God, she was never immobile. She worked out really hard. One of the things, though, that I think was a contributing factor, and we're going to talk about this as we talk more about food as medicine, is my mom was on a very low-fat diet. Now, we know in studying nutrition all these years that fat is very important for our brain, our neurotransmitters. And the first thing, if I had known back then what I know now, is I would say, Mom, you need to eat lots of healthy fat. She lived on chicken, very plain baked chicken and broccoli, because she really wanted to keep her weight down. Even when she had ALS in a big way, she used to move the scale back because the doctor told her she couldn't go any lower than 120 pounds, but she always wanted to be really thin. She was 5'6" or 7", and she always wanted to be thin. So she would move the scale back so we wouldn't know she was below 120 pounds. But I caught her, and we had a running joke about it, but in truth, if she had really fed that brain, maybe doing more of a carnivore diet where she got lots of healthy fats, lots of animal fats, I really believe it would have helped her a great deal, and she would not have gone on a feeding tube as quickly as she did. Can't go back and change history. But coming forward with my issues, I have been working with a functional doctor, and I want to share this with you because maybe some of you are going through the same thing. For many years, I have been a macro counter and really balanced my plate with vegetables and protein. I've always been high protein, and then I started adding in a couple fruits a day, lots of fermented foods, all good. And I was very disciplined with this. But I have noticed that these are getting worse. So I did a whole bunch of blood tests. Blood tests came completely great. My cholesterol is great. My thyroid's functioning fine. All the markers come back great. I'm going to go have a heart scan this week, a CT scan, because I have a lot of heart issues in my family and kidney issues. My pancreas was a little bit off, so I got some support from my pancreas. But I have also made a decision that I'm going to go really hard at this keto-carnivore, because I feel that all of the lots and lots of vegetables I've been eating have really been contributing to more of my inflammation. Now, that's not to say I'm not going to supplement it with Juice Plus, because I am. I'm going to take my Juice Plus vegetables and fruits to make sure that I'm getting those nutrients in there without adding a lot of inflammation to my body. So because it's so broken down, it doesn't cause the amount of inflammation that eating the raw fruits and vegetables or even the steamed and cooked vegetables would do. So I'm going to stick with that. I'm still taking my omegas. I've bumped up my B12. I have bumped up my D3, all things that help, and magnesium and potassium that help with leg tremors and leg spasms. So as I move forward, I have seen, some changes. I got better shoes. I got a grounding sheet, which did nothing for me. I was really hoping that would help. I got some sensory probes. I got a lot of stuff. I got something that helps with circulation that you hook up to your legs. I got socks that are, circulation socks. And so I've gone the whole route of things. I even pulled back on how much exercise I'm getting, but I have found that that has actually made it worse. So I will be reincorporating a lot more of the Pilates and a lot more of weightlifting. One thing I did have to take out though was heavy weights and leg day, because that seemed to really lock up my legs more. So I'm learning how to deal with all of this, and I'm really hoping that by cutting out all the inflammatory foods. I've cut out sugar now since September, so I've seen a lot of changes just from that alone. My skin looks better, I feel my energy is better. There's not all these ups and downs. I'm not starvingly hungry all the time. The weight has come down, but I really have to get these leg spasms in check. And that means more of a primal diet. Now, I will take you on this journey with me, and I will be absolutely transparent with the changes that I'm going through and what's happening and what I find out, because I believe that's the power of podcasts and the internet, is to share our journey. I have done CrossFit nutrition for menopausal women. I have taken classes as a health coach. I've taken nutrition classes for athletes. I've taken a lot of nutrition certification classes, and all of that has led to this balanced approach. But now it's time for me to try something that's a little bit more aggressive, because I really have felt that's been needed. I will put in the show notes some of the doctors that I have been following and learning from, and I will talk a lot about that. Now, I will say that because I used to be a pastry chef, I'm very honest with you. I love my sweets, and I have found about 3 or 4 desserts that I love that don't contain any sugar, that contain a good amount of fat, and they are usually dairy-based, but not your milk-based products. So for instance, like the cheesecakes, they have been a lifesaver for me. I don't eat dessert every day, but every once in a while you get that sweet craving. That's a really good thing to have on hand. And I know my husband and my son are doing this with me, and they have both dropped quite a bit of weight and feeling much better as well. And they really need those cheesecakes and the little peanut butter balls, because you need something that, as you transition to something a little bit more regimented, you need to be able to ease into that. I would not say this is something that you have to do cold turkey, because you do definitely go through withdrawals, especially when you give up sugar right away. So having those sweet snacks that don't necessarily have any sugar in them, they don't have any. They're sweetened with allulose or Truvia or whatever sweetener you choose to use, but I try to keep it as natural as possible. So I have found that I do soak my legs every night in Epsom salts, and I do massage castor oil on them in the morning, and at night I have a magnesium rub that I put on them that is helping some. But I would love to hear your stories. What has helped you? What have you seen? What have you experienced? I know some things from when my mom's muscles were contracting and expanding all the time on their own, and so I've definitely implemented as much of that as I can. But the other fun fact in researching all of this is how many people have been helped with type 2 diabetes, with the gout, with rheumatoid arthritis, all these things by really getting back to that primal way of eating. So heavy in red meats, heavy in your chicken and fish and all of those carnivore type foods. And on the keto side of things, I choose to have some of the cheeses and things like that. Now, maybe if they don't get better, I will give that up as well. But again, it's a journey, and we do little steps, baby steps at a time. So I hope that you'll communicate with me and let me know how your journey is going. And I will be sharing lots of the recipes that I've been doing. Right now, I am making a sous vide ribeye with a compound butter that will be seared off when it's done. And so I will keep sharing as we go. All right, my loves, keep in touch with me. I pray for each and every one of you all the time. If you have not subscribed, hit that subscribe button for me. Make sure you give me a thumbs up. And I would love to hear in the comments, what are your struggles? What are you doing to help yourself? Don't forget, we have the habits challenge. So we're looking at micro habits. The micro habit that I am working on is 5 minutes of reformer Pilates a day, along with my other exercises. And then the following week, obviously we pick something new. I did challenge the group to make sure that they have protein at every meal. If you would like to join my free Facebook group, I will link that below as well. And I wish you all a wonderful beginning of the week. I'll be back with you on Wednesday. Much love.